Level 1 Sarbaz. You are 18 years old. You don't choose this. National service is mandatory, and a besieged recruiter visited your school in Isfahan a year earlier. Taking names on a spring morning, a summons arrives, report date, 3 weeks away. Your father reads it twice, says nothing. Your mother packs your bag the night before, folding shirts you won't need. The bus to the garrison outside Isfahan leaves before sunrise. 40 recruits, none chosen, only assigned. The garrison sits behind a checkered gate, concrete barracks, a mosque at the center. A drill instructor meets you at the wall. Doesn't raise his voice, says, "Here obedience comes before understanding." You sleep 12 to a room. Wake up is 4:15 a.m. Prayer, then a 6-kilometer run. Rifles are wooden until week 4. Every evening ends with an ideological session. Questions afterward that are not really questions. You answer carefully after 12 weeks. 1 stripe. Sarbaz. You are manpower the state expects to shape, and you learn quickly that shaping is the entire point. Level 2. Sarjuk. You are 20 years old, assigned to a border unit near Sarpoli Zahab, close to the Iraqi frontier. Corporal now. 2 stripes. Your rifle is the Iranian-made KH-2002, standard IRGC infantry issue. Every magazine is logged against your name, and a discrepancy requires 3 signatures. You patrol a stretch of border twice daily with a soldier named Reza from Avaz, who talks more than the terrain deserves. During a rest stop, he mentions his uncle lost work when a factory in Khuzestan cut hours, says it plainly, tired rather than angry. Back at base, you log it in careful language, express frustration regarding regional economic conditions, no further comment. Human Rights Watch has documented how IRGC field reporting on soldiers' remarks routinely feeds into internal monitoring files well beyond the incident itself. Whether your wording protects Reza or exposes him, you never learn. Your quarterly file uses 1 word. Discipline. In the Guard, discipline doesn't describe your posture. It confirms you understand what silence is worth. Level 3. Gruben. You are 23. 3 stripes, sergeant, responsible for a section of 9 soldiers, most in their first year. You inspect boots, weapons, and each soldier's ideological workbook, 3 entries weekly minimum. A workbook below that is your failure, not theirs. Every Thursday, the unit's Akaid Siasi officer, the political ideological representative, holds a review circle. You no longer sit inside it. You stand at the edge, reading who hesitates, who answers too fast. One soldier, Milad, 19, from a farming village, answers in a flat tone the officer reads as detachment. After the 3rd week, the officer pulls you aside, asks what you've observed. You describe Milad as reliable physically, uneven verbally, recommends supplementary study sessions rather than formal notation. The officer writes it down, says you see clearly. Milad completes the sessions, his answers sharpen. You never learn whether you protected him or simply gave the officer something to act on, while your section's ratings stayed intact. Your annual report says 1 word. Dependable in this structure, no word carries more weight. Before we go further, comment which rank surprised you most. Hit like, subscribe. We upload daily. Level 4. Set 1. You are 26. A regional selection board reviewed personnel files during the quarterly cycle, and your name appeared on a list you never requested. 1 bar, 2nd lieutenant. You are commissioned, reassigned to a mechanized unit outside Arves, responsible for training oversight and weekly coordination between your company commander and the Akaid Siasi office. The meetings reveal something invisible from below. The political officer holds authority equal to the commander on any matter touching loyalty or reporting. The commander manages logistics and drills. The political officer manages who gets flagged. After your first joint meeting, the commander tells you only, you'll learn what to escalate and what to absorb. You already know. You learned it at 23, watching Milad in the review circle. What changes now is scale, and the fact that the file carries your signature. Level 5. Sarvan. You are 30, captain commanding a company of 95 near the port city of Bandar Abbas, a strategic post along the Strait of Hormuz. This year, your unit joins a joint naval ground exercise, live coordination with IRGC Naval Forces, 11 days. On night 7, a private fractures his wrist during a beach landing drill. Evacuation clears within 40 minutes. You log it precisely, time, name, cause, approval reference. The following morning, the political officer asks 1 question during the debrief. Was the training tempo appropriate leading into that drill? The training calendar carries your name at the header. You cite the approved schedule by document number. He writes something down and moves on. RAND, Corporation Analyses of IRGC Internal Reporting note that such notations rarely surface consequences immediately. They surface months later, when a file is reopened for unrelated reasons. Your evaluation reads, thorough command of procedure. Thorough, not distinguished. You understand exactly what that omission means. Level 6, Sahang Dovom. You are 35 Lieutenant Colonel, transferred to Tehran for a senior staff course at the IRGC's Officer Academy. 12 weeks, strategy, logistics, and advanced ideological analysis, where officers deliver spoken interpretations of doctrine rather than recitations. One officer in your cohort, Sharp, from a prominent Guard family, delivers his analysis with unusual confidence, citing historical context beyond the assigned material. The instructor thanks him without expression. 2 days later, he's summoned to a private meeting. Afterward, he's quieter, his analyses shorter. When your own analysis is reviewed, the instructor says, measured, appropriate. At this level, exceeding expectation isn't an asset, it's a question, and questions take weeks to surface consequences. Measured costs nothing. That becomes the only rational strategy. Level 7. Sahang. You are 41 Colonel, commanding a regiment near Kermanshah. Your name now appears on documents that travel to provincial and occasionally national command, readiness certifications, logistics summaries, each one a permanent point of review. An inspection team from IRGC Central Command arrives, officers with no unit loyalty, answering only to Tehran. 10 days of review. On day 6, an inspector flags a discrepancy in your ammunition records, 19 rounds logged under the wrong training classification. You produce the correct documentation within the hour. The debrief reads, satisfactory. Minor administrative variance noted. Satisfactory, you passed. Variance, permanent record. Over the following weeks, you rebuild your entire filing structure, not from fear, but because you now understand how thin the line is between a clerical mismatch and a career notation. Level 8. Satip. You are 47 Brigadier General, transferred to Tehran, assigned to the IRGC General Staff. An apartment in a reserved district, a driver who takes the same 3 routes. Your work involves comparing field readiness reports against independent intelligence, and the gaps are architectural, built into every level beneath you. A unit reports 91% readiness, satellite and logistics data suggests 74. Your superior reviews your weekly summary, changes 2 figures upward with a pen, hands it back without a word. The International Institute for Strategic Studies has repeatedly noted this exact pattern in its assessments of IRGC self-reporting. Inflated readiness figures moving upward through every command layer. You begin keeping 2 versions, one accurate, locked away, one adjusted, sent forward. Not as evidence, as a private record that someone still knows the real number. Level 9. Salashkar, you are 53. Major General, Corps level command over 3 divisions. Roughly 30,000 personnel, plus Quds Force liaison responsibilities. You attend closed briefings in Tehran, phones surrendered at the door. At one meeting, a chair sits empty. The commander who sat there for 9 years isn't mentioned. Weeks later, through an indirect channel, you learn he made one remark in a closed session interpreted as insufficient confidence in strategic direction. He's reassigned to a provincial training post. No classified access, no presence in Tehran. 59 years old, 34 years of loyalty, undone by one sentence in the wrong room. You think about Rizé's comment on the border patrol. You think about your superior's pen moving across your figures. Every collapse you've witnessed traces to the same gap between what a person believes and what the room requires them to say. Level 10. Sardar. You're 58. The summons arrives at 6 a.m. 2 officers from the Guard's Internal Oversight Bureau, polite, procedural. A review has opened concerning a readiness report that passed through your command 2 years earlier, reported at 88%. An internal audit places it at 69. Your signature certifies the summary. The review runs 8 weeks, a government facility, comfortable, isolated. No driver, no briefings, no access. At the end, a document arrives without ceremony. Advisory role. Regional Training Center, Kermanshah. Not imprisoned. Not formally stripped. Within a month, your name is removed from the active command registry. A doctrine framework you co-authored is reissued without your name attached. In Kermanshah, you teach young officers who address you respectfully and have no idea who you were. One evening, a lieutenant asks what separates those who rise from those who don't. You tell him, knowing the difference between what you believe and what you say. He writes it down, reads it as doctrine. He isn't wrong. But what 35 years inside this structure taught you is that it was never built to reward loyalty. It was built to extract it, level by level, until the ones who climbed highest were simply the ones most precise about when to show it and when to disappear before it was tested again.